This week's first impressions video is Animal Trainer Simulator, the Prologue. The Prologue releases on the 17th of May and the full game's release is yet to be announced on Steam. I've played through the Prologue, it's about an hour and a half long, gives you a really good idea about the goods and the bad about the game and what could be improved in later versions. Generally speaking, I adore this game. I think it's cute, I think it's awesome, I think the graphics are fairly good, and it does run pretty smooth. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it is just a prologue and improvements are meant to be coming down the line. Your options are pretty basic and I would like to see a lot of improvements as time goes on. Your graphics mode, you get your resolution, your full screen mode, your anti-aliasing mode, your shadows resolution, your VSync on or off, your field of view, and your render distance. That's about it. It is very, very basic for the graphics, and honestly, the graphics are pretty good, so I can see it probably struggling on harder or your older machines. So a few more options and a bit more customization there is never going to be a bad thing. General options are just your language. And I honestly feel like this could be very easily added upon with more accessibility options later on down the line as well. Volume setting, again, very, very basic. It does actually have the music volume and the master volume at maximum. I'm going to switch it up here a little bit so you can maybe hear it. Interestingly enough, I have to have it at max volume so you guys can hear it, which is interesting. Again, I like the style of the menu. I just feel like there could be more here, maybe some numbers underneath so you know exactly what sort of level you're at. And then finally, your bindings. Now, it doesn't have controller support. When my wheel was plugged in or enabled from the device manager, it would pick up the wheel and would constantly walk backwards. Now, most people that want to play Animal Training Simulator probably aren't going to have a wheel, and that's a very specific issue I've had. It picking up a wheel when there is no controller support is a little bit weird. And I don't know if controller support is going to be coming later on or whether they're going to be working on console. Outside of that, the controls have worked fairly well, been very smooth. There are a few hitbox issues, and there was one specific issue I came up with on the game, which I will explain when I'm showing you the gameplay. But overall, it does run fairly well. It's just a little bit clunky, and they could maybe work so that it doesn't pick up controllers over the keyboard when there are no controller settings. So the Prologue is basically just the tutorial. You start with $1,000 and you have a tutorial for dogs and a tutorial for horses to go through. The tutorial horse is quite lively, so you're going to have to watch out for that. When I played the first time round, it did actually sort of the horse would move the horse trailer, which is hilarious. You also do get the development console up here, and the way you're going to get rid of that is you hit tab and then you hit close. You only really need the development console up if you are going to be reporting bugs and things like that. As you follow the tutorial, it does give you quite clear instructions on what to do, and you get a few building options for different things that you can do. You do have to be careful, however, because I bought the doghouse and I rotated it, and I actually had it facing the wrong way. It doesn't do a very good job of showing you which way is which, and you won't know until you put it down. See, because I would prefer here that the house was facing the other way, but there's no way of telling where the entrance is. Maybe a little bit of an arrow facing from the outward side, like thousands of different builders have done before, just to allow the user to have a little bit more control, because it doesn't seem like there's a way of moving it once you have actually placed it, which is a bit annoying. It's a bit of an annoyance. What you can then do is you can go and take an order. You will have a message and it will show you what you need to do in order to get paid from the message. What it doesn't do is tell you how much the job is worth, and that's a problem because you actually lose money on your first two jobs because obviously you're setting up. It would be nice if down here it would say training cost or training, amount that you're charging, or maybe even in the full game you're able to choose how much you want to charge, like being able to set your prices and stuff would be kind of cool. Also down here in the bottom left you do have a energy bar, a drink bar and a food bar, but you don't touch that in the prologue either, so I don't know how they're going to do that or what they're going to match, whether you're going to have to go to the supermarket and buy stuff for yourself as well as the dogs or what, I'm not sure. You register your animal, you assign it there, and then you can go and you can have a look at what your dog is, what it's called, and what it is you're going to have to do. Interestingly enough, when I played this first, the dog was called Samson, and it was a golden retriever. This is called Spike this time round, and I don't know what breed it is. We're going to find out together. So you sit and you navigate, then you got to go and get in your car. Now, earlier I said there was a slight issue with the driving, and that's that I picked up the horse box for the horse training, and it allowed me to uncouple it, and then it would not allow me to recouple it. It wouldn't allow me to set the trailer back up again, so I couldn't actually complete the mission. There is an autosave on this, which is really useful because it meant that I could just load back in and it wasn't an issue. However, it is important to note that because it was an autosave, I had to do the entire training again. The other problem I've got with the game is the navigation is a bit pants. You can look at the map by going here and hitting the map, so you can see what the map looks like, although it's not a very good map either. Like, it's a very low quality one, and it doesn't really show you anything when you're on the GPS, right? So as you can see here, it does have a line of where it wants me to go, but that's the only time you see it. When you're actually driving around, you don't get that. You don't get that line. You just get like a destination. You're going to try and figure your way out. And I'm not a huge fan of that. I feel like a proper navigation bar would be a huge advantage, just because this isn't a game where you should be challenging yourself, right? This is a chill out game where you just sit and you train animals, and the gameplay should be focused on the training of the animals. I love the fact that you got to go and pick them up, but I do feel like to focus so much on the travel when it doesn't give you a clear-cut way of getting to the places is a bit of a problem. However, once you've done that, you can go to these little zones. Now, it kind of implies that you have to stop in the zones, but that's actually not true. The blue zones you've got to walk in. The red zones are where you need to be for dropping certain things off, so you can drop off your supplies and stuff. You walk in, and then it will again give you your order. Still no price. I would love it if there was a price here. Then you can accept, close, or deny. So we're going to accept, and we're going to see what doggo we get. We actually get Spike, who is again a golden retriever. I'm hoping when the game comes out, it is not just the same dog with different names, because as adorable as he is and amazing as he is, that would get really boring really quickly. However, what is cool is that the doggos will sit in the passenger seat with a seatbelt on, and they look amazing. They look incredible, and they make me happy. They put a massive smile on my face. The horses aren't as cool. They go in the horse box, and you can sort of interact with them when they're, you know, in the horse box type thing. It is important to note that the game doesn't really let you know with horses that you should take the saddle off, because otherwise they get unhappy. Which, you know, might make sense, but I'm not a horse person. I didn't know that, and I got a big notification saying that the horse saddle was still on. But because you're doing the tutorial, which is the main reason why I had the issue with the horse box, I couldn't take the horse out until I was at the designated place. It wouldn't let me. So it would be nice if it gave maybe a little bit more detail about how to take care of the animals when you've got there. Interestingly enough, this is a good reason why I would like a navigation bar, because it wants me to go to the store to pick up dog treats and stuff, not go home. Why it doesn't send you to the store first before picking up the animal, I don't know, but this is the order of things. And again, if there was a navigation bar so that you could actually sit and find where you want to go, it would be a lot easier. You can do many things with the animals once you've got them, and I will hopefully be able to show you that in a second, which is that you can like pet them, you can give them rewards, you can, you know, put a leash on them, let them run free in the field. They're not going to run away or anything. which is kind of cool. And it looks like you're able, with the horses stacked there, to be able to maybe buy your own horses and train them up and then maybe sell them. I don't know if that's the thing. This is just a very, very basic prologue to give you a feel for the game. I really like it. There are a few things which I wasn't a huge fan of, especially with the store building. As you're about to see, you've got to buy them in a specific order. So here we are going to go and enter the store, and you can see that I can't buy the snack until I've got the dog food. So buy a dog with dog food, and then you can buy the snack. And that's all you're allowed to buy because, again, you are on the tutorial, so there's no point in buying extras, even though you might want them for later for a reward or to help train them with different things. You're going to enter the car, and then you're going to drive back to the house. Now, this is where it gets me a lot of the time, and why, again, I had the issue with the horse box, is because I was trying to take the items out of the truck. And in every other game like this I've played, you go to the truck and you pick up the box and you put it in the house. But with this, you just drive up to the house, and then there's a button that pops up that allows you to empty the cargo into storage, which is, in a sense, easier, but also not, because it doesn't explain that's how it works. So unless you either know what you're doing already or are very observant and spend a lot of time looking around, the game doesn't give you much direction at all. It's a very cool game and I'm a massive fan, but I do feel like it's expecting too much of the player, right? I don't want every game to hold my hand, but at the same time, I do want to feel like I know what I'm doing in a tutorial. Like whether you can choose to skip the tutorial part, which would alleviate a lot of the issues and bugs that I've had, or whether you can, you know, select a difficulty of tutorial or something so that it doesn't handhold everybody that might not want that. I'm not entirely sure, but it's a bit odd. The other problem, obviously, is with this bit, when you've picked up the goods for the horse, you've got a trader on the back of you. So you can't actually go all the way up to the house anyway, which is another reason why I got a bit confused. However, this is the best part of the game. So this is dog on the leash. He will follow you, always on the leash, and then you can interact with them. So we've got to go and put him in the doghouse to feed him and stuff, but you can pet him straight away. And you get this little hand, and you can just pet him and make him really happy, and his tail will wag, and it's kind of awesome. You can see the trust goes up as you do that. It is incredible. So we're going to leash the pet again. We're going to drag him in. But this is the game, and I'm loving it. I would play this all day, every day if I could. The doggo always ends up on his back and rolls around, and it's adorable. It really is. We're going to fill the food. I'm going to fill the water. He's going to come up, eat everything, drink everything, have a bloody good time. The mini games you get with the training aspect are cool, but a little bit janky. There's one where you've got to teach him to train your paw, and the way that he does that is a little odd. You've got to try and guess where his paw is going to end up, as opposed to where his paw starts, and it can take a little while before you trigger that. I love the way he chases his tail. I could just sit here and watch him do that all day. Overall, I think this game has a massive amount of potential. A genuine, absolutely huge amount of potential for anything that you can do, especially if they add new and different animals in the game as well. The prologue, like I say, is about an hour and a half long, depending on how good or bad you are at the game, and then it does unfortunately boot you out. I'm hoping that, just as with Pet Shop Simulator, the devs listen and hopefully extend the prologue or make it a bit bigger, or just hurry up and get the full game released, because I want to play more of it. I just do. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Ciao, ciao.